League of Legends. It's the game enjoyed by millions of addicts around the world, where 10 monkeys, who all think they're the zookeeper, fight a war of psychological attrition. But even with all that going for it, it's not perfect. If you want to find a match, or change your settings, or do pretty much anything else, you have to use software called the client, which is a miserable piece of shit, and it has been since its release. I often see people say that it would be too hard, or too expensive, or take too long to fix the client, so I made a tool called LoLXD to prove that that's complete bullshit. The rest of this video will demonstrate the improvements that I've made to the client, and also show manual workarounds where possible. LoLXD is primarily a demo to show what's possible, but if you're interested in trying it, go ahead. The ability to select your language is a basic accessibility feature, so apparently it's not a priority for Riot, although it is technically possible. It's not documented anywhere, but if you add locale as a start option, the client will launch with that language. I've also automated that, so you can set it up through LoLXD. If you've ever seen professional matches, you'll have noticed that they have the ability to view the match from different angles. First person mode and extended zoom are actually available in normal replays, but this functionality is disabled by default and can only be enabled by altering config files. Extended zoom and first person view can both be enabled through LoLXD. Speaking of replays, if you've ever been sent a replay file from a friend, you might have noticed that there's no way to play it from within the client. Instead, what you have to do is create a shortcut to the game, then drag the replay onto that shortcut. Or you can conveniently browse and launch replays via LoLXD, which also has the benefit of keeping your enhanced settings. Imagine you've just watched Nightblue's excellent Janna Jungle Guide and you're ready to take it to ranked, but in your excitement to commit a war crime, you forget to press save on your rune page. Now you're going to have the wrong loadout. Instead, if you set your runes in LoLXD, it'll automatically save whenever you have a viable rune page. There's no manual workaround for this one, I had to rebuild the rune system from scratch. Now that you've loaded into a game, you might want to mute your teammates. Ideally, you could mute everything except for your team's pings, while still being able to encourage your team through chat. Unfortunately, this isn't possible in any of the many chat commands, but it can be achieved with 2 commands. I've made a new command, /n mute all, that will achieve the desired outcome, but again, there's no manual workaround because this is quite hacky. If you've ever played with a friend, you might have noticed that the only option for voice comms are voice activity or push to talk. There's no toggle mute option as far as I can see, which seems like a huge oversight because you can't hold down push to talk when you're in the middle of a team fight. So to get around this, I've created a third voice mode that opens all voice and lets you set a hotkey to mute and unmute your mic. I'm not sure how useful it is for anyone that's not doing development or testing, but you can actually have multiple clients open at the same time. To do it, you either add allow multiple clients as a launch option, or, more conveniently, just spawn new clients from inside LoLXD. One of the most egregious problems with the client is that without loading into a game, you cannot see your ping. It's possible to ping Riot's game servers, but it wouldn't do much good because ping consistency matters more than ping time, so you'd have to send constant pings to get an idea of your network stability. Given that Riot presumably has a good reason for not implementing this, I've also chosen not to, but if you're doubtful about the time versus consistency thing, I've created a game that will let you test different options and verify for yourself. There's no way to increase hood size beyond 100% without altering config files, which is an understandable decision because if there's one group that's already too strong, it's the vision impaired. Even so, I've made it possible to increase map and chat size so that everyone can play the game. Every few years, a bug will reappear that causes the game to freeze or crash unless the UX process is restarted. Currently it's unnecessary, but I've included 2 different methods for restarting the process just in case it happens again in future. And that's all. If you're going to try the tool out, use it at your own risk. I can't see anything that would give an unfair advantage, but Riot could ban you for using it. Riot, if you've watched this and you want me to remove the code, no problem. I assume that given your renewed commitment to communication and improvement, most of these changes will be implemented in the client soon anyway.